Oh, Jeff, dude, what's that smell?
I brought some garbage from my compost pit.
Oh,
It's in the bucket in the back seat.
why in the world would you do that?
Well, we're bringing it to Vermont in the hopes of making a connection. Think of it as a kind of offering.
An offering to who?
This might be more of a what.
Okay, an offering to what?
We're searching for the Pigman of Northfield. I'm Jeff Belanger.
And I'm Ray Auger. Thank you for joining us on episode 83 of the New England Legends podcast. If you give us about 10 minutes, we'll give you something strange to talk about today.
We are so glad you're with us on our mission to chronicle every legend in New England, 1 week and one story at a time.
We certainly are.
And we couldn't do that without our Patreon patrons who are sponsoring this week's episode.
Thank you.
If you go to patreon.com/New England Legends, for as little as $3 per month, you get early access to new episodes, plus bonus episodes and content that no one else gets to hear.
We also appreciate all the feedback that we're getting in our super secret Facebook group.
We do.
And on our legend line, that's 617-444-9683. Call or text us anytime. All right, so Jeff, we're looking for a Pigman in Vermont.
That we are.
All right.
Now, I first heard about this legend just recently. I was talking to Peter Muse of the New England Folklore blog, and we're big fans of his blog.
Yes, we are. Now tell everybody why we're talking to him, Jeff.
Because we have a brand new companion podcast we just launched called New England Legends Campfireside Chats, where we interview other people who are also passionate about New England legends and lore. And you can find that podcast on our website at ournewenglandlegends.com. And it's also available for free on iTunes and Google Play. And these are long-form interviews we'll do from time to time, and episode 3 features Peter Muse, who of course gives credit to the great Joe Citro for uncovering this weird tale of the Pigman. So go check it out.
All right, so it's Peter's fault that we have a bucket of rotting garbage in the back seat here in Northfield, Vermont.
Yeah, let's blame him.
All right, are we going to lay this pig slop along the road in hopes that he comes out to eat it?
I really don't have a plan B on this one, Ray.
All right, let's set this up.
We're going to start in the spring of 1971 in Northfield. Let's call this Incident 1. A local teenage farm boy goes missing from his home in town, and he isn't seen again. People in town go searching, but they find no trace of him. Maybe he ran far away and started a new life for himself. It's sad, but, it happens.
Now, months later, just a few miles from the farm where the boy went missing, animals go missing from a different farm. Cats, dogs, and some other small farm animals. Of course, the farmer suspects some kind of predator, but, a predator leaves a mess behind.
That they do.
Blood, guts, a sign of a struggle.
Yeah.
In this case, there's nothing. People around town raise their eyebrows in wonder as to what could have happened.
So that's incident number 1.
Right.
Incident number 2 takes place soon after in the region of Turkey Hill Road in Northfield. One night, a farmer hears the familiar sound of animals rummaging through his garbage can. Figuring he has some raccoons to scare off, he throws open his door and yells,
"Get the hell out of here!"
But then he's shocked to see it isn't some group of raccoons, it's a tall man who appears to be naked. He later described him as having long, shaggy hair on his head, and when the creature turns to look at the farmer, the face is revealed, and there's something not human about it. But the man, or creature, whatever it is, rushes off on 2 feet.
All right, that's incident number 2.
Got it.
By now, people in Northfield are starting to think something strange is going on. That's when incident 3 occurs.
It's the fall of 1971, and tonight there's a school dance at Northfield High School.
And by the way, Jeff, some of the number 1 songs from 1971.
Hit me.
Me and Bobby McGee from Janis Joplin.
Classic.
Brown Sugar from the Stones.
Of course.
You Got a Friend by James Taylor. And Just My Imagination by The Temptations.
And Ray, those very songs may have been playing at the dance on this fateful night when some kids sneak out to go back behind the school to this sand pit and drink some beer. So these kids are chugging brews when suddenly they hear a strange rustling sound in the nearby woods. The sound gets louder, and then this man or creature or monster leaps out of the woods. It's tall, it's naked. It seems to be covered in white hair all over its body. It's walking on 2 legs, but strangest of all, it's got the head of a pig. Ooh. It's kicking up sand, and it seems pretty angry.
Now, the kids are panicked. They leave their beer behind and dash into the school, huffing and puffing about a monster to anyone who will listen.
As you can imagine, some of the other students weren't buying it. But there was something about the fear in the eyes of these kids. Some of them were even crying. It seems like this was more than just a prank. So a few brave students go back out to the sandpits where they find the abandoned beer and some underbrush that's been mashed down and strange footprints in the sand.
One of the kids described the creature as a pigman, and the name stuck.
So now Northfield is buzzing, and they're looking for answers.
On the outskirts of town, there's a geological depression full of streams and fallen rocks. Locals give it the ominous name, the Devil's Washbowl.
Oh, that's a great name.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it's damp and always seems to be dark inside because the hills all around shade the middle.
Got it.
And just up the road from the Devil's Washbowl is the only pig farm in town.
Now, folks in Northfield are trying to make connections. They can't help it. Is there some connection between the missing teenage boy, the missing animals, the pigman, and the Devil's Washbowl?
And when something doesn't make sense, we speculate, right?
Sure, yeah.
We tell stories and try to explain the unexplained.
And when such a powerful legend is growing in town, it's no surprise that kids will go searching for their own sighting. So they head out to Devil's Washbowl.
Now, some people find nothing. Others claim to see strange cloven tracks in the mud. And one teenage boy says he was attacked by the pigman.
Oh, man.
He described long fingernails like claws and a distinct face of a pig.
Ooh. But time goes on, as it always does, and the sightings stop, leaving everyone to wonder what's become of the pigman. And that gets us back to today.
All right, Jeff, I'm having trouble with this one.
Why is that?
So we're supposed to believe that maybe this missing Northfield teen was transformed into some kind of pigman? Or that maybe a pig somehow combined with the boy to form some new blended creature?
Right.
I guess that would be the work of the devil inside the Devil's Washbowl, right?
Yeah, I get it. This stuff can be hard to swallow. But the story hung around Northfield long enough that a local passed it along to Joe Citro, who wrote it down in one of his books, and we're still talking about it today.
Well, it's a cool story either way.
The other thing about the pigman is that we already have thousands of years of legends to back this one up.
Oh, how so?
Well, there's an ancient Greek and Roman legend about a half-man, half-horse called a centaur.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
There's the half-man, half-goat from the same mythology.
Oh, right.
The Romans called them fauns. The Greeks called them satyr.
Right, yeah.
But this half-man, half-pig, is that from the same mythology?
Well, Christian art that depicts the devil sometimes gave Old Scratch the facial features of a pig, along with cloven hooves. There's this 16th century painting by Jacob de Backer that depicts the devil with the upper body of a man, but his head features horns like a ram and a snout like a pig.
All right, so you've got this concept floating around for centuries. You place the creature at a place called the Devil's Washbowl, and suddenly an evil monster has a long history of backstory, which makes it easier to believe and talk about.
Yeah, that's exactly, I think, what's happening here. It's already a little familiar, even if you don't know why. And here we are, decades later, with a bucket full of slop, driving toward the road near Devil's Washbowl, hoping to draw out a creature that may not have been seen since James Taylor had hair and was telling us in song that we've got a friend.
Still, it makes you wonder if something like the Pigman will ever come back. Even though I have trouble believing in a half-man, half-pig, I'll still feel better once we get off this lonely, dark road.
And that's how powerful a legend can be, Ray.
Plus, that garbage is really starting to stink. I'm dumping it before we go.
We've had a lot of people email us about the Pigman of Northfield, so we're happy to finally get to this great legend. Just a reminder to check out our companion podcast, New England Legends Campfireside Chats, to hear long-form interviews with people who seek out and experience these legends of New England. And you can subscribe to that podcast just like you do to this one, unless you don't yet, in which case you should, because both are free.
We got a text on our legend line this week, Jeff.
Yeah.
And that line is 617-444-9683.
Call us.
You can call us, text us anytime. All right, this text comes from the 505 area code. It says, "Hello from New Mexico.
Hey.
Me and the kids love listening to your podcast. Thank you." Well, you're welcome. We love hearing from you guys. Reach out anytime, please.
Yeah, we do love that. We'd like to thank Zach Bagans.
Wow.
Yeah, for lending his voice acting talents this week. And our theme music, of course, is by John Judd.
Until next time, remember, the bazaar is closer than you think.